So is this thing actually working? If you guys could let me know in the chat if this thing is actually working, that would be pretty darn cool. Just trying to figure this out for the first time. Hi there, Duncan. Awesome. Cool. All right, so this is the first live stream. Unfortunately, Bandit's not here with me. He's out in Colorado, and I figured today would be a good day to kind of just get a feel for the waters, see if this actually works out pretty decently. Um, Gonna do like kind of a Q&A thing after a few more people get on here, and we'll try it out. So yeah, ask away any questions you guys might have. We're just trying to see if this is something viable, something that would be worth doing here in the future when we're together. It is just me, obviously, so just kind of figuring this thing out. I tried to get it working on my computer a little bit ago, but you have to download like an encoder and all this different stuff. But yeah, so it's on my phone right now. So hopefully that's working out decently. What's next for the Tacoma? Well, there's something in the mail right now on its way for my truck. It's actually like a 3-part shipment, so hopefully all 3 parts will be delivered here soon. One of the parts came in earlier this week, so now I'm just waiting for the other 2 parts to come in. So once that does happen, then we will hopefully be getting that done here before we go back to school. That man says, I have leather seats in my Tacoma. In your opinion, is it worth getting the Carhartt seat covers? Yes, I think so. I personally enjoy having the cloth seats. Obviously, that's what I have in my 2016 Tacoma. I got the Carhartt seat covers because it's definitely going to help prolong the life of those cloth seats. Not only do they look nice, especially with my silver truck, but they are water repellent. I think maybe we didn't show it in any of the videos a year or so ago when we had done this Carhartt seat covers. But if you have any water that gets onto them, it repels right off, and it's really, really cool. And I've washed those seat covers a couple times, and it still retains that water repellent nature that the fabric has. So that's really cool. Bandit and myself are both fans of the Carhartt material. It's just some rugged stuff, and it definitely keeps it all protected. Like I said, the cloth seats that are in there in the truck, and we do have the heat seater, the seat heater, whatever you want to call it, that we installed from Rastra on my truck, and all of the heating element and everything still does come through. So yeah, long story short, I definitely do recommend the Carhartt seat covers. Though if you do have those leather seats, I would definitely want to enjoy those leather seats, just maintain that leather over time, especially if you live in somewhere where it gets a lot of sunlight and a lot of heat, because leather, as you may know, probably does degrade a little bit over time, can start to crack and get dry, and that honestly just doesn't feel too good. So yeah, your choice with that. I mean, if you have the leather, just try to maintain it, but there's nothing wrong with getting seat covers for your leather seats. Jamie is asking, does the Carhartt seat covers have any kind of softer backing? I have leather seats and I would worry about the Carhartt material rubbing the finish off the leather. That's a good question. On the inside, it is a softer backing. When you, I guess, have the seat covers inside out for washing purposes and everything like that, it's not the same Carhartt material on the inside. It is a bit softer, so I wouldn't think that it would damage your leather at all. I would hope not, anyways. Yeah, I would say it would probably be okay, more than likely. Um, what color is your Tacoma? Just out of curiosity. What's next for the Land Cruiser? Oh gosh. Well, the Land Cruiser's been sitting down in Blacksburg for about a month or so now. Bandit had brought it down there before he went out to Colorado. It's ready for us when we're going back to school. It's hard to tell what's going to be next for it because we've really got it up and running. It's not having any issues as of late. Bandit was daily driving it to and from work, and it wasn't having any issues. It was staying cool, having no issues with shifting. Everything seems to be perfectly fine with that. That's something I'm going to have to ask Bandit about, actually, because we've done quite a bit to it. If there's anything else, it might be small modifications. Maybe some paint work if we decide to keep it that long. Honestly, this is just a short-term to long-term project, and we really did get a lot of that stuff done. I mean, we kept you guys up to date as much as we could on that. We did a lot of engine work, had the transmission and everything out in the garage floor down where Bandit lives, and it was a fun project. I mean, we've both worked on stuff over the years, and this was the most in-depth I would say I've ever gotten with a vehicle, maybe other than the Triumph Spitfire that I had back home. That's the first mechanical experience that I had ever really had. Wonderful car, but takes a lot of love to make that thing run perfectly fine. Okay, magnetic gray. So your truck would look really good with the gravel colored Carhartt seat covers that I have. Those are the ones that I obviously have in my truck, and I feel like it really, really complements the silver sky metallic that I have in there. Obviously, there are other Carhartt colors. The regular Carhartt brown color, that's obviously an option. That's what Bandit has in his Tacoma. So yeah, you have a few different options of seat covers there. Netman says, I just installed the complete appearance Toyota Tacoma tailgate letter insert inlay from Amazon. Looks amazing. You should check it out. We've looked at some of those inlays before, and we've toyed with the idea of it. Obviously, if you did see, Bandit has the camo inserts on his, and they look really, really nice on his quicksand color. I don't know how they'd look on the silver sky metallic on my truck, but always something to think about. Hey, Greg. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, this is the first time trying this out. Tried it on my computer a little bit ago. Thought that would be easy, so I'm using my computer to read the chat and using my phone to kind of use that as the camera and everything going on. So hopefully all of that's coming in good on your guys' end. Like I said, this is the first time just kind of testing out the waters, just making sure that this is something that we could continue to do in the future. We like to keep in touch with you guys as much as we can. I mean, it's busy this summer because we're working and going back to school here in probably 2 weeks. Classes start up August the 20th. So ready to get going. We have this one last year of school, and then who knows what comes after that. So we'll see what happens. Tom is asking, any paint issues with the magnetic gray? Not that I'm aware of with the magnetic gray. Oh, you're asking Netman. Okay. The only issues that I've heard of as far as Tacoma paint, looking through Tacoma World and just hearing it from some of you guys, is on the, it's the blue color. I can't remember the exact name of that blue, but for whatever reason, the clear coat is like coming up, or there's something with the issue mainly on the roofs and the hoods, because that's what's getting the most sunlight most of the time. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, and it's kind of case by case. It's not like every single blue Tacoma, but it's a few of them. So if you go on Tacoma World and search like paint issues with third gen Tacomas, I think even some of the second gens had some of this issue too. I know Toyota's trying to figure this out. To clarify, it's not the Cavalry Blue. It's the standard blue color that the third gen has had for a while, and the same blue that was on the second gen Tacomas as well. Like I said, not exactly sure what the deal is with that paint. I know Tacoma or Toyota's trying to deal with it, and definitely help out the owners as much as they can. Yeah, Greg, I'm hoping that there won't be any paint issues with yours. There shouldn't be. I haven't heard of any issues with magnetic gray. Um, I know my silver sky metallic. I mean, I purchased the truck in May of 2016, so over 2 years now, and I haven't had any paint issues with the truck. I will say my truck does not stay in a garage. If it's in the garage, it's because I'm working on it. Though, if I do any kind of waxing or anything like that, I do put it in the garage back home so it's out of the sun and I can apply the wax when the paint and everything's cool to the touch. No, this is just a standard black Yeti. I've had this probably coming up on a year this fall. I believe I got it in fall of 2017. I love this thing. Definitely is really nice. I had a lot of friends that have had them, even some of the off-brand ones, and said that it kept their coffee nice and warm and their water and ice nice and cool. I can keep water in that on my nightstand with a few ice cubes in it overnight, and I can wake up in the morning and there's not any melting or anything like that. It definitely keeps things really cool. Though I have been enlightened. One of my coworkers has a Yeti that has his school seal on it, so I'm really considering getting a Virginia Tech one. But at this moment, I don't know if I want to pay another $30 to get one through Yeti. This one I just bought at Dick's Sporting Goods. It was on sale for like $20, so I picked it up and I love it. It's really nice. How's it going, Dan? Okay, so this is a question that we've gotten a bit, and we've discussed it maybe a little bit with a few different people, but Duncan's asking, what are y'all studying at VT? So I am studying underwater basket weaving, and Bandit is also studying underwater basket weaving, but that's obviously not the truth. That's just a joke that I've had with a few people. I am studying property management, and Bandit is studying something in the natural resources department. I mean, he's my best friend. I should be able to say specifically what it is. Hmm. Something in the natural resources department. He definitely does a lot with like construction and outdoor related stuff. Um, so yeah. It's interesting. This summer, I'm working for a real estate investment trust. So that's an interesting job. It might not sound all that glamorous, but I like it because it's different every single day, and I'm not stuck in an office all day long. So that's enjoyable. Last thing I want is a desk job. I've been outdoors all my life, and I want to still continue to do that. But this is a good balance between indoor and outdoor work. But sitting at a desk is not what I do. Obviously, you guys can probably pick up on that from what Bandit and I do. It's just not something that we enjoy. Being outdoors is our life, and that's why we go off road and go on these trips and everything. So, yeah. Tom is asking, how do you like the engine tranny combo? Some don't like it. Yes, there are a lot of people that don't like the combination of the 3.5 liter V6 and the 6-speed automatic. I personally like it because I had a Tacoma, and a 2006 Tacoma before I had the 2016 automatic transmission V6, and I will say it acted very similarly. Toyota transmissions are produced by Aisin, which is an Asian company, but made here in the US, as far as I know. And they're very, very reliable. You won't have any issues with them that I'm aware of, but they hunt for gears quite a lot, and that's just a programming, a software related thing. It's not necessarily a physical. That's how the gears and solenoids and everything make it work. It's the software, because obviously when you do put it in ECT power mode, the shift points and everything change and it livens up the truck. Definitely doesn't hunt and shift gears as soon. Now there are tunes out there that you can get for the truck, obviously, and we're kind of toying with the idea of getting one of these tunes and changing it around to test it out for you guys, but also because we're curious about it as well. We personally don't mind how the truck shifts. We've definitely learned how it works, how it runs. So I guess maybe we're just used to it at this point. It definitely doesn't shift quite like, say, a Chevy Colorado or any other truck with an automatic transmission for that matter. I personally wish I had the manual transmission just because I really, really enjoy driving standard. But with a double cab long bed, Toyota doesn't offer a manual transmission, unfortunately. But if they did, I'd probably sell my truck today and get it if they offer that option. But so it goes. So yeah. We can talk about the transmission all day long. Heck, we could have a live stream dedicated to that. Love the content, simple and to the point. Thank you, Dan. That means a lot. I mean, we try to be genuine. We don't have a script or anything. We do have somewhat of an agenda as far as what we want to talk about in each and every video that we do, obviously. But none of it's scripted. I mean, we like to be genuine and give you guys our opinions on things. And our methods on how we do certain things, whether it be washing our trucks, doing maintenance, upkeep, anything like that with the truck. Obviously, that can be a point for debate because somebody might not agree for it, but that's okay. It creates a conversation, and that's just what we like to do. When do you think we will really hear about 2019 Tacomas? Thought on what the little changes we may see, not TRD Pro. So Toyota is really, really good about keeping things under wraps as far as bringing out their new models. Obviously, we do know about the 2019 Tacoma TRD Pro, the different things that we're going to be getting with that. I would expect either 2019 or 2020, hopefully, they will bring Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to the Tacomas. They've already rolled that out with the Avalon. I believe the Camry may have it. The new RAV4, the new gen RAV4 probably has it. I've been so busy with my job that I've already forgotten some of the things that I've researched. We do have a few insider people that are able to tell us stuff from Toyota because they roll this information out to the dealers before the public gets to see it. So we do have some people that do tell us about this stuff. Unfortunately, just haven't been in touch with them lately. We're all busy working. It's just life. That's how it goes. But we're always sure to bring out this information to you guys as soon as stuff is brought available to us. Because I feel like the consumer should know about these changes, what to expect so they can make plans, whether they want to keep their truck, if they want to sell their truck. Just kind of keeping their options open, and it's always nice to get a heads up as to what these manufacturers are doing as far as rolling out their new vehicles and what new features might be available. As far as other things with the 2019 Tacoma, maybe some new color options. They might drop a color, add a color. Not exactly sure what it could be. Bandit and I are secretly hoping that they're going to bring back that green mica color that they had on the second gen Tacomas. It was kind of like a foresty green with a metallic tint to it. It was a really, really nice color. I would really like to see them bring that to the third gens as an option. It would be really, really cool if they did that. So yeah, eventually maybe an 8-speed automatic transmission. Toyota already has access to 8-speed transmissions. It wouldn't take much for them to fit that into the Tacoma. The Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon already have an 8-speed now, and they've made updates to that V6 before. So now it has a little over 300 horsepower. And the interesting thing about the V6 engine that's in the Tacoma, it's the same exact engine that's in the Highlander, the Sienna, the Camry, the Avalon, and it probably will go in the next gen 4Runner as well. It's all the same engine code. The internal parts, as far as I know, are the same. It's just tuned slightly differently. So the Camry and the Avalon both get just over 300 horsepower, whereas the Tacoma has 278. So Toyota is easily able to tune it and change it around and allow the computer to generate more power because it's all computer controlled now. Everything with these engines, obviously you can change your intake and your exhaust and lessen up that restriction. And obviously that might change things around some, but ultimately it's a good way to look at it is you no longer are pressing a pedal to physically make a change, such as opening up the jets and the carburetor a little bit more and pulling in something from a mechanical fuel pump. Everything's electronically controlled. So when you put your foot on that pedal, you're asking the transmission and engine and fuel pump to do the amount that you're asking. So if you're pressing down 50%, it's going to give you 50% of its max capability. So it's just interesting because you're not telling the vehicle to do something, you're asking the computer to allow it to happen. It's just kind of a cool way to think about it. Again, that's something that we could talk about for hours. Agreed. I feel I connect with you guys well. As an outdoor enthusiast at a family dinner, I saw you came online and came inside to listen. I hope you can do more of these if you can, Chad. Talk to you later. Greg, thank you for hanging out. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing more of these, hopefully. The internet here in DC, where I'm living for the summer, where I work, is phenomenal. Back where I live in Winchester, Virginia, there's nothing this fast, so there's no way I could do a live stream back home. It would have to be down at school, which luckily that's where we are most of the time. So we are definitely going to try and do more of these live streams. This is the very first one. Like I said, just kind of testing the waters for all of it. Just got to figure this out, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we can create a bit of a talk over it, for sure. Dan, yes, Aisin is definitely an older company. They've been making Toyota transmissions for quite a while. I'm not exactly sure how long they've been around, but they're now a subsidiary of Toyota. So Toyota does have a stake in their company. It's kind of how Toyota owns Denso. Denso is a subsidiary now of Toyota. So all of Toyota's electronics, their light bulbs, fuel injectors, spark plugs, you name it, it's an electronic part that's going to be on a Toyota of any kind. But yeah, they've made transmissions for quite a while. I believe Volvo uses Aisin transmissions. Aisin, believe, also makes heavy duty transmissions that go in the Ram trucks, more specifically the ones behind the Cummins, that inline six that they have, that diesel engine. Aisin makes transmissions for quite a few manufacturers. Tom is asking, do you think the 2.7 will stay, or does Toyota have another four-cylinder coming? That 2.7 that's been in the Tacomas has been around for quite some time. I mean, it's definitely bulletproof. It's proven itself. And if you buy a Tacoma with that 2.7, you won't have any issues at all with it. I mean, obviously, it's not going to make as much power as the V6, but I would expect Toyota to probably phase that out here soon, putting something a little bit more efficient maybe in the Tacoma. Toyota does like to give people their options as far as what they want to do. I mean, their packages aren't laid out difficult at all. It's not quite like Ford where you have the 201A or whatever their different packages are, and there are a million different options. Toyota makes it relatively simple. You just have to pay for it if you want it, obviously. But that 2.7, I would say that they're going to keep it around maybe another couple of years before they add something a little bit more efficient to the lineup. Still not sure if Toyota is going to add a turbo option to any of their lineup. Maybe in the Tundra, maybe they'll do like a 6-cylinder with the turbo. There's no telling. It doesn't seem like Toyota is going to be bringing a diesel to the market anytime soon, which is not such a bad thing because the EPA in the US is extremely strict. I mean, you guys know what happened with Volkswagen, and other manufacturers such as FCA have gotten in trouble as well for not exactly being 100% transparent with their diesels and how they tune them and everything. So yeah, really, really interesting stuff. Toyota will more than likely do electrification first. A hybrid Tundra, Tacoma 4Runner, Highlander, I mean, they already have a hybrid Highlander, but um, they will more than likely add an electric motor, whether it be to the transmission, the engine. Um, that's what's probably going to be happening with Toyota within the next decade. You'll see it. Um, so, yeah, interesting stuff for sure. Tedrick, just saw you're doing this. Couple questions. Are you planning on lifting your truck? Also, are you guys still planning on hitting a trail in a few weeks? Yes, so planning on lifting my truck. It's a possibility. Not exactly sure what I'm gonna do as far as a lift goes. There are a lot of different options out there. They're just expensive, and I want to do it the right way. I'm not a fan of doing like lifting blocks or anything like that. I would do probably a traditional suspension lift, so changing out the leaf springs, coils, shocks, things of that nature. Um, Old Man Emu has some interesting stuff. I know Headstrong Off-Road has a really nice Dakar leaf pack and Bilstein 5100 package. It's a good thing to get started with. 5100s, they're good to start with, but my understanding is that if you really want to continually off-road with them and daily drive it, the 5125s or some other options are nice to look into as well. Um, I don't do any off-roading that makes resis necessary, getting those shocks with the reservoirs. Um, I mean, the TRD Pro suspension is nice, but it's not necessary for what I do. I mean, I do off-road, but as somebody who daily drives their vehicle 95% of the time and hitting trails probably 5 to 10%, um, it's not worth it to me. I'm not about the mall crawler status. I mean, there are vehicles out there that look really, really nice, um, but they're just too clean. It's not that it's a waste of money because you can build your vehicle to however you want it to. But I feel like if I'm going to put a part into my vehicle, I want to use it. I want to be able to utilize it to the fullest extent and get my money's worth. So that's how I feel about that. Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up with what you guys are saying here. So as far as hitting trails in a few weeks, August 11th, we are going to be going to Flagpole down in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Bandit and myself will both be there. More than likely, I will be camping, and I know there are a few of you subscribers that will already be coming, so I'm super, super excited for you guys to come out to that. It'll be a fun time. We're going to be, grilling out and cooking over the fire, everything like that. It's going to be just like a normal camping trip, but wheeling on the way there. Super, super fun time. We're going to post information on Instagram, and we're going to be bringing more information to the channel to you guys this week. As far as like where we're meeting up, what time, where it is. And if you guys have any questions about things that you should bring, definitely leave them in the comments of this coming week's video, and we'll be extra active on there and get back to you guys and let you know, what kind of things you'll have to bring. If you haven't been off-roading before, this will be your first time. It'll be a good learning experience. As far as the trail goes, there are parts where it gets pretty technical. We're always a fan of using spotters, being really safe about it. And if you're unsure of something, stop your vehicle, ask, we'll be there to help you. It's not something that you should be afraid to do, but the worst thing is being too cocky about it and kind of jumping, not knowing exactly what's going to happen. And trying to show off. That's not what we're about. We're here to help you guys, and we want you guys to have a fun time if you come on this trip with us. So, yep, that'll be on August 11th. So, like I said, stay tuned for more information. Aiden Hardcore 1 is asking, what do you think of the Tacoma 16 and up having the gear hunting issues and power? My 17 has it, and I hate it. So, kind of touched on that a little bit earlier in the live stream. So it's not that the Tacoma doesn't have power. It has torque management within the transmission. So you get that full power, but it's not going to hit you until 4,600 RPM later up in the power band. That's just how it is. I mean, that's how gas naturally aspirated engines are. There's no turbos to kick in that torque extra early. The gear hunting, I can see where that can be annoying. I guess I'm just used to it because I've always had a Tacoma. I had a 2006 Tacoma for several years with an automatic transmission, and it was the same way. It hunted, but I guess it's a fuel economy thing where if you're not pressing far enough in the pedal, then it's gonna shift, and it feels like it's okay to, even though there are times where it'll shift, but you're trying to go up a hill and you need that extra power to pull the truck up the hill. So that's an interesting one. I can definitely see where that's an annoyance. Um, Past that, though, Toyota has come out with a TSB. I think there's one or two new ones, which I'm interested in about. One of them has to do with a power surge and fourth and fifth gear, I believe. So been doing. I can't remember the exact TSB number. I'm going to more than likely have that done just because I like to be most up to date, and it's a free update, not something that you have to pay for, obviously. Um, and I believe there is another update to the transmission. Not exactly positive on that. I'm thinking that we'll probably roll a video out here within the coming weeks talking about that and our thoughts on it if we can get our hands on one. I'm not near a Toyota dealership here in DC, so more than likely I'll get it done when we get back to school. So I'd anticipate maybe sometime late August, early September if I can. I just like to read about those TSBs and kind of get a feel for what exactly it's going to do for me and what it's going to do for the truck, and is it going to be worth it? In most cases, I would say yes, but anyhow, I digress. Tedrick, I live in Winchester now also as I attend Shenandoah University. I met with Bandit a few months ago when I was living in Edinburgh. Oh, really cool. That sounds familiar. Maybe Bandit had told me about that. What do you think of Winchester? Shenandoah, it's a great university. I've I had grown up all my life in Winchester, and it's a nice place. I enjoy it. That's always going to be home for me. Obviously, where I'm living here in DC for the summer is way different than Winchester. It's very small compared to DC. Um, but yeah, anywhere in the Shenandoah Valley is extremely nice. That's home for me, northern Shenandoah Valley. And Bandit living a little bit more south of me in the Shenandoah Valley. He's like right in the middle of it. Um, it's a really nice area. Yeah. The hybrid RAV4 motor and a Tacoma, maybe. Tom, that's a possibility. I'm sure it would be tuned a little bit more towards truck application with the gearing. Um, it's hard to say for sure. I mean, there is that new motor that Toyota came out with not too long ago, the 2 liter, and it's really cool. That's the one that, oh gosh, I'm pretty sure that'll be in the new RAV4, and as well as the RAV4 hybrid, this new next gen RAV4. So yeah, it'll be cool to see that because I mean, as these motors get newer and newer, and as the years go on, they get more and more advanced, and you know that there's just so much going on. The scary thing is it's all computer controlled. So if the computer goes bad, everything's gone. So we're very dependent on that. But sure, that could be a possibility. It's hard to tell. I would say Toyota is probably going to go more towards a electric motor within the transmission as an assist. Start stop I can see coming for sure. Obviously it'll be selectable, but start stop will definitely be something that, I mean, Toyota already uses it in the RAV4 and the Highlander, and I believe the Sienna, with the same exact motor that's in our Tacomas, that 3.5 liter V6. So I would say that's something that'll start to come here in the Tacoma, but only time will tell. So we'll keep you guys up to date on that if we do learn anything more. They should put a diesel in the Tacomas. I can only wish. I mean, there is that 2.8 liter four-cylinder turbo diesel Cummins. I believe, yeah, the R2.8. That's a drop-in crate motor that you can get from them, and people are putting them in their old Toyota pickup trucks, their their old Forerunners, the first gen Forerunners, old Jeeps, TJs, everything like that. And it's a sweet motor. It really, really is. And I think it would really be awesome to have that in a Tacoma. But if we could get our hands on the four-cylinder turbo diesel that Toyota makes and puts in their like European and African and Australia model trucks, that would be a really, really sweet addition. Unfortunately, I don't see Toyota bringing that over to the United States, just with EPA and emissions and everything like that. It's just something that I think Toyota would rather stay out of at the moment here in the US and go more towards electrification, hybridization, everything like that. So, like I said, only time will tell. Winchester is nice. I've lived in the valley for a while, so I was already familiar with it. Hoping to maybe join with you guys in Harrisonburg. Keep us posted. Absolutely. Yep. Tedrick, we'll keep you posted. Like I said, more information will come out on that this week. We're really, really looking forward to going on the trip. You can expect both of our trucks to be there. We're going to test out these new tires on the truck finally, both his truck and my truck. So yeah, we'll see. It's a nice trail. It's got some technical parts to it, but as long as you're being a smart driver, and I mean, I'm not to toot our own horn, but I feel like Bandit and I have become pretty good spotters through all the trips that we go on while we're down at school, and just having experienced it, we can help just about anybody, even in the stock rigs, because we've been up the flagpole a few times. This will be my third or fourth time up there. And yeah, it's not a difficult thing. Brought my Tacoma up there when it was bone stock. I mean, I'd still consider it to be pretty stock. I've just added some skid plates, taken the mud flaps off, changed the tires and wheels. So yeah, I mean, anybody can do it in a stock truck. You just have to pick your lines right. Do you think the 3.5 will go in the Forerunner? Absolutely. That's what I'm thinking, Vin. Absolutely. That's more than likely. I would say I'm about 99% certain that that is what's going to go in the next generation Forerunner. It's just easy because Toyota already manufactures it, and they put it in, gosh, Highlander, Sienna, Camry, Avalon, Tacoma, and I don't think I'm missing anything else. But yeah, 5 of their models they put that engine in. So yeah, we will see. We will see. I'm hoping to see that new Forerunner within the next 2 years. If we don't see it this year as a 2019 model, or sorry, excuse me, see it being revealed this year and coming to market in 2019 as a 2020 model, definitely we'll see it next year coming to market as a 2021 model, I think. However that works out, hopefully within the next 2 years, we're going to see what that thing looks like. Opinions on lifting the 2018 Taco with its safety sense grill. Would the sensors work with the 2-inch lift? There's no guarantee. This was a topic we talked about a few months back, and Toyota was no longer going to lift their TSSP vehicles as a dealer installed option. You see these lifted trucks that they might have out on the lot that are brand new, still have a sticker on them, and then they charge an extra $4,000 because they installed a huge lift on them. But Toyota advises that they don't do that anymore. Just because they would have to recalibrate the TSSP system, which is fine. I mean, to recalibrate it, that's all good. I'm not sure if Toyota is doing that or not, but if you lift it on your own, it's basically lifting it at your own risk because you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. Say if you get in an accident that would have normally been prevented by TSSP, such as you rear end somebody, but normally that would have been prevented because of the automatic braking. But it didn't see the vehicle correctly or didn't give enough time for it to brake because the vehicle sits up higher. So if the grill is right here and this is the tail end of the vehicle in front of you, then normally it would see it. But then you lift the vehicle a few inches and then the calibration is off. So then you would run into the vehicle. So Toyota's kind of covering their butt and saying, you know, lift at your own risk, but they won't do it for you anymore, is basically what they've been saying. Yeah, I like the TJ just because it's simple, although the Tacoma runs great, more room, etc. I agree. I mean, I've always had a Tacoma ever since I started driving when I was 16 years old. Had a 2006 Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport pre-runner, so it was a two-wheel drive with a four-wheel drive suspension. Nobody believed me when I told it was two-wheel drive, and it had a mechanical limited slip differential, which was kind of cool. I mean, I never put it in any case where I needed to have the LSD. Maybe driving in some snow. And obviously, since it was a two-wheel drive truck, I put weight in the bed of the truck just to kind of help me out a little bit, just because there's hardly any weight over that axle. So yeah, TJs are cool. My friend had a, uh, gosh, what year was it? Maybe 2003, 2004 Jeep TJ, Wrangler TJ. And with a standard and the straight six. And I give Jeeps a hard time. I have several friends that have Jeeps, but I mean, when it comes down to it, they're great vehicles. They're cheap, easy to modify. The aftermarket for like an XJ is amazing. Same with a TJ, YJ, JK, and the aftermarket is already booming for the JL. Excuse me. So yeah, the parts for that are plentiful. They're gonna just become more and more plentiful as time goes on. So great off-road vehicles, absolutely. And the nice thing about Jeep Wranglers is that they hold their value just like the Tacoma does, because they know people want to buy them. They're fairly reliable. I know the Tacoma definitely is, just speaking from personal experience, and everything. Toyota builds themselves on the reliability, dependability, quality. I mean, obviously, there are problems as time goes on. That's why there are these TSBs, and Toyota's going to do what they can to correct it. I know we get frustrated sometimes if something happens with the truck, and, oh, why did the dealer do this, or why did they act this way? It all comes down to money and politics within the company. I have no idea. I won't get into all of it, but so it goes. So it goes. Sierra Mills, do you have any regrets buying a sport instead of the off road? I know you get on me about having a TRD Sport and putting these things on it to go off road. I don't have any regrets at all, honestly. It's the truck that I wanted. When I bought it, I had no idea that I'd be going off road, but it's not hard to do these things to it. Really, the only difference between my truck and say Bandit's truck is a locker. And most of what we do, you don't need a locker. I mean, you don't need skill necessarily to, you know, differentiate between needing a locker and not. But I've never been in a situation where I was wishing I had an off-road. Sure, like having a locker to say you have a locker, I mean, yeah, that's cool, but I don't need it. I'm able to do everything off-road without the use of the locker. If you have decent tires and four-wheel drive, I mean, so long as you're not doing anything outside of your vehicle's capability, then I mean, you're fine. You're good to go. So no, I don't have any regrets. I love the truck. I swapped out my rear turn signal with LED and got the hyper blank. I found you can put resistors on, but I really don't want to go that route. Have you heard of any other option for this? I'm actually not very familiar with that. Um, haven't really looked into any differences for the taillights. I'll be honest, I don't know what you mean by the hyperblink. Is that something that's like a plug and play thing that changes the system around, or does it make your turn signal blink at a different rate? I'm not entirely sure what hyperblink is. Any other questions, anybody? This is kind of just testing the waters out. I'm going to be here for another 15 minutes or so. I'm going to then start making a dinner and get settled in and ready for work tomorrow. This will be my last week of work at my internship, and then we will be going off road less than a week from today, 6 days away, August the 11th, Harrisonburg, Virginia, flagpole. It's going to be a fun time, guys. If you can make it out, if you're anywhere within the Northern Virginia, Southern Virginia, DC, Maryland area, definitely come on out. It'll be a fun time. Replacing rear turn to LED, it makes them blink fast. The computer thinks the bulb is burned out. Oh, okay, okay. Gotcha. I'm not aware of any other options for that, in all honesty. Um, that's cool though. Um, if you have an Instagram or anything where you can post a video of that or send us a video, that would be cool just to see that because I honestly haven't heard about that before. What are you gonna do as a career? That's interesting. So what I'm doing right now is property management, more on the managing properties of all sizes, so high rise, mid rise, garden style. Um, it's all multifamily, residential, that kind of stuff. More than likely, but yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I love the company that I work for. I've had a great time this summer. I've definitely learned a lot. Um, I would say definitely within this job field. Like I said, I work for a REIT, a real estate investment trust. So they purchase, construct, own, manage everything. Everything that they're over, they take care of, and they don't use any third parties or fee-based management companies or anything like that. Um, I enjoy it, the management side of things. You know, management is what I've always studied in college. I started out with business management and then got more specific with managing properties. It just interests me, and property is a good investment. So that's all I really have to say about that at this time. Um, I can speak more to that when I graduate in less than a year now. So next May I graduate. So we'll see. Um, it's it's not a bad job market right now. So finding jobs and a college student just graduating, hopefully, it won't be too difficult to find a job. I mean, I do already have a job offer to come back and work for the company I'm with this summer. To come back when I graduate next summer. So that is already all on the table. So uh, still stuff to consider, but I think it's just a comforting feeling to go into my senior year of college knowing that I have that offer on the table. Yep. The sport is great for the city kid, but the off road is for the real men. Gosh, you're not going to give me any slack on that. Trade that sport in and buy a real truck, you will probably make money on it. Honestly, I mean, whether I had a TRD off road or a TRD sport, if I ever did sell the truck in the future, they would probably resell for very similar prices, maybe a little bit more for the TRD off road. Like I said, I mean, the real difference is the appearance and the locker. I mean, crawl control, that's more gimmicky than anything. I mean, it's cool, but it's not something I need. It's just not necessary. And honestly, for the purpose, so yeah. So the channel, it's good to have my TRD Sport and Bandit's TRD Off Road. It's good for comparison purposes, and the fact that he has an access cab and I've got. Any other questions? Got about 12 more minutes here on this live stream. I was going to limit myself to an hour. Can't believe you actually laughed. I mean, it's just it's just a funny thing, it's funny to see your comments. I honestly do look forward to them because I know you're always going to give me a hard time about having a TRD sport. So, I mean, like I said, it fits my needs. It fit my needs when I bought it. It fits my needs now, 2 years later, and I think it will continue to do that. Um, I mean, yes, like I said, having a locker would be cool, but I mean, 99% of the time it wouldn't be engaged. I mean, it's only for getting you out of those um, really difficult situations, per se. Would you get any newer tacos? Well, maybe down the line. I mean, honestly, my plan is to keep the truck until it doesn't run anymore. I mean, I want to pay it off. It'll be paid off here within a couple years. Looking forward to that. And Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason to get rid of it. I mean, when I do eventually have a family, start a family, get married, everything like that, it would be necessary to get a bigger vehicle. But I think I'll always keep that truck because there are a lot of things that are good for having a small truck for. I mean, it does everything I need right now. But, one day I might get a Tundra. Who knows? I mean, I love the Tundra. I think it's a great truck. And to get something bigger that can tow more, um, it'll be nice. It would be nice to have that. But right now, I just don't need it. It's not necessary. And I mean, my Tacoma is my do everything vehicle. So it's just nice to have. I was trying to think you guys didn't have a sense of humor. No, no, we definitely do have a sense of humor. Um, I know there are some videos where we might seem kind of serious. That's just because we're on camera there. We're just trying to get to the point. I mean, we cut up with each other all the time off camera. So it's good to have these live streams for that because you can see reactions to what you guys are seeing, see, who we are. This is a good opportunity to get to know us better. I mean, we see you guys in the comments, and honestly, the thing about this whole YouTube thing is you guys know us better than we know you. So that's why we want to do these meetups and going off road and camping out, doing whatever it is with you guys because we know that you guys are awesome. I mean, you subscribe, you watch our videos, you comment, and we always want to try and get back to you guys as best we can. We're not always the best at getting back to your comments during the summer because when we're working, it's just so busy. And I know you guys understand that getting home at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, whatever time it may be at the end of the day, it's just exhausting. You want to just lay down, you want to eat, and just hang out. So I hope you guys can understand that. I mean, this whole YouTube thing is really, really fun. There's no end in sight. We have no specific goal necessarily, goal in mind for where we want to get, but we're always just wanting to grow. We're not trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. If we did, that would be amazing. I don't know what I'd do if we did, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. We're sitting, right above 40 or 5,400 subscribers, which is amazing. I mean, we never thought it would get to be like that, and I became friends with Bandit when he had less than 500 subscribers, and don't I just reached out to him, and that's all you guys have to do. If you want to get in touch with us and meet us, just reach out. I mean, we're always willing to. I mean, we all have busy schedules, but definitely do it. I mean, we're willing to meet up with you guys. We have met up with several subscribers, done videos, everything like that. It's a fun time, and we are fun people. I promise. I mean, we're young, and we might take some things seriously that we do on film that gets posted on YouTube, but that's just because we want to get the point across. But at the same time, we are pretty laid back people. We love the outdoors. We go on these wheeling trips. We work on our trucks and enjoy life. That's what we're all about. So that's all I have to say about that. So for everybody that may not be able to see the chat or hasn't read it, um, well, oops, I skipped a few. We'll come back to that one. Um, Dino says, I have a 2007 off-road, but have never used the locker. Just never have put myself in a position to use it. Exactly. I mean, it's nice to have it and not need it, but I guess it's one of those things where you would rather to, have it. But like I said, personally, me, I don't need it. There's no need for a locker. And anytime I'm off road, I just haven't put myself in a situation where I needed it. The four-wheel drive system in the Tacoma works just fine for me and my needs. It's a really, really good four-wheel drive system. So yeah. CR Mills, the crawl control is also great for city kids. Well, I mean, I wouldn't consider Bandit to be a city kid, but I mean, that's not some, like I said, I don't think I need it. I mean, it's just one of those things. I can do some left foot braking and right foot pedal action. I mean, that's all I really need to get myself going off road. Like I said, just haven't needed it, and I don't regret not getting a TRD off road. TRD Sport for the most part. I mean, that's just how it's meant to be, something that rides good on the road and looks good. And it still does, even though I do have the tires on it. It rides really good on the road, and I still have the TRD Sport suspension. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I really am. I mean, more than likely there will be some suspension stuff coming in the future, but I don't know what that'll be. It'll probably be more off-road oriented, but it will be something that wouldn't come standard on the TRD off-road. It would be something that you would probably upgrade to from the TRD off-road. So more to come on that as things come. We'll keep you guys updated on more updates for the Tacoma. There's always something that we're thinking about. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger and getting it sent to us. So Green Trumpet 5 says, and those few that have the limited, why get one of those? Even though I'm team hashtag base gang, a 2009 in Timberland Mica, that's the green that I was referring to. It's a great looking color. It's awesome. That's what it's all about, right? Absolutely. So yeah, the base Tacoma, I mean, you cannot go wrong with that truck at all. If it's four-wheel drive, maybe. Manual transmission, four-cylinder engine, you cannot go wrong with that truck at all. It will get you from point A to point B, and you won't have any issues with it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the base truck, and the base truck gives you the most options for upgrading the truck and making it yours, customizing it to the fullest extent. Because as you get it up into those other trims, SR5 is a good one as well, but when you get into the TRD trims, the Limited, the TRD Pro, your ability to make it more unique gets further and further than it would from a base model, because a base model you can really, I mean, you can start with nothing and create something really, really cool. So yeah, hashtag base gang. That's funny. I like that hashtag. Tedrick says Sierra Mills drives a Nissan Frontier. CR, is that true? Do you drive a Nissan Frontier? There's nothing wrong with it, but I'd like to know what you drive. You guys. Sierra Mills. I actually got stuck bad crossing a beaver dam and was amazed at how well the crawl control works. Saved my ass from getting wet hooking up the winch. You drive a 2017 TRD off-road. Tedrick, you called him out, but he drives a Toyota just like we do. I mean, gotta give credit where credit's due. But yeah, that beaver dam. I mean, I've never seen a beaver dam so big that I was like, hey, I'm gonna go drive up on it or drive past it. I usually leave those be if I come across them when I'm hiking or coming across a river crossing, whatever it may be. Usually just leave them where they are. Nature, I like to let it do its thing. Uh, so yeah, that's interesting. So CR, question for you: what brand of winch do you have on your Tacoma? Just out of curiosity. And do you like it? I mean, obviously you have it and you got to use it, so that's good. I just want to know how it works for you and whether or not you like it or not. Well, I was crossing the bottom end of it, and my wife was still pissed. Girlfriends and wives, they can get on you about doing stupid things with your trucks. I mean, for good reason. They're just watching out for you. Tedrick, same as me, mine is silver. Silver Sky Metallic. It's a good color. It's a good mix between looking really, really good when it's clean and even when it's dirty. From a distance, sometimes you can't quite tell. It just looks really, really good. My truck needs to be clean though, but I'm not gonna do it until after we go to Flagpole. If you guys have any questions or want to start any little conversations here, now's the time. We've been streaming for just over an hour. gonna get off here kind of soon, but I want to see if you guys have any other um, questions, any conversations you want to start. This is the time for it. We're gonna do another live stream. I might even do another one, maybe sometime later in the week, right before I move out of DC back to Winchester. Just kind of a little closing thing here. But yeah, now's the time. So speak your piece. I was torn between the silver and the mag gray, looked at two side by side, same model, etc. The mag gray looked bigger, so I went with the gray. Gotcha. So the reason that I didn't go with the magnetic gray was more for a personal experience. My mother had a 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee that was that same type of color, kind of looked like pavement. And insurance agencies call it a ghost color because they're one of the ones that get hit most. Even though you would think you would see a vehicle anywhere on the pavement, but some people, I guess it's just not as visible because it resembles the color of the pavement. I find it kind of silly, but I mean, there's a reason for it, I suppose. But anyways, she had gotten T-boned in it. She's perfectly fine. This was years ago. Just had a bit of a sore neck and sore shoulder. But she had gotten hit in that, and that's when we had learned more about those ghost colors out there. So ever since then, that was in 2015. So before I got my Tacoma, I mean, my '06 Tacoma was a silver sky color. So I liked the color. I liked the double cab long bed configuration. So I just basically got what I had except four-wheel drive. That's all I wanted at the time. So yeah, yep. But I mean, it's a good color. I like the magnetic gray a lot. It's a super, super good color. Tedrick, yours is a manual. Okay, that's really, really cool. Awesome. I haven't gotten to drive a manual third gen Tacoma yet, so I'd love to hear your opinion on how it drives. I know some people don't like how there's a bit of that rev hang when you press in the clutch and then go to shift your gears. But if I get the chance, I might have to ask you to let me drive that one. Just want to try it out. I want to see how it feels because, like I said, I'd love to have a manual one, but unfortunately, the double cab long bed, you can't get one. It's a sad, sad thing, but so it goes. Any recommendations on a non-OEM TRD Pro grill for 2016 Tacoma? Bay Area Metal Fabrications, they make some really, really nice aftermarket grills. Look kind of like a TRD Pro grill, but a little bit different. Also, check out Cali Raised LED. It's either them or Headstrong Off-Road. I'm getting them all mixed up, but one of them manufactures their own TRD Pro grill. It's compliant and everything. It's not really violating any copyright type issues with Toyota as far as I know, but it looks very, very similar to it. So I'd look into that, and it's definitely a lot cheaper. But you can also use our promo code Bandit on Sparks Parts if you want to get a bit of a discount. 5% off today, tomorrow, next week, whenever you want to get any parts for your Toyota. They're OEM. They also sell superchargers. They've got a lot of different parts on there that you can get for your truck. I actually have a part from Sparks Parts that hasn't been installed yet. I've had it for months, like since March, I think, maybe even February. I just haven't put it on the truck yet. Just haven't taken the time to. So that might be something that I need to do before I go back to school when I have a little bit of time. But stay tuned. You'll probably see something installed on the truck within the next 2 weeks. Glad I have upgraded to all LED except for the darn rear turn. Well, that'll be next. If you can upgrade that to LED turn signal, that would be really, really cool. Let us know if you do. See how you like it. Sierra Mills, I have a 9,000 pound champion winch. I have mounted on a winch plate so I can put it in the hidden hitch in the front or in the back. Works great, but it's also hard to get the TRD stuck. Yep, because you have that locker. It's just so hard to get that truck stuck. And the crawl control for the city kids. I'm glad to see you guys are giving some suggestions though for those grills. That's awesome. Thank you for that. For 129 for that grill, that's a really really good deal. It's really nice compared to like $400 to $500 for a TRD Pro grill. That's awesome. Mine drives fine. If you want to drive it, no problem, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, that would be awesome if at some point we can meet up and do something like that. That would be cool. If you don't mind me asking, Tedrick, what are you studying at Shenandoah? I meant to ask you that earlier. CR Mills, the big money worn would be nice, but for the amount of time you will actually use it, I don't think it's worth it. I completely agree with that. Absolutely. I'm Canadian, if you haven't figured that out yet. Yeah, I could tell by the way you had spelled things. Yep, absolutely. No, that's cool. What part of Canada are you from, if you don't mind me asking? Canada, that's a long ways away. I take that back. I think if I drive from my home to like the Niagara Falls area part of Canada, that would probably be about 9 hours. That's not too bad. I've been in a car longer. Biology and applied to PA school already, just waiting on schools to respond back. Fingers crossed. Good luck, buddy. You can do it. I know you can. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. You just got to apply yourself. Absolutely. That's really cool. That's really cool. CR Mills. I'm currently living in Ontario. Okay. Gotcha. Well, I've got my computer up, so now I'm curious. We're going to see how far it takes to get from Winchester to Ontario, just for the purpose of conversation. That's interesting. It's not saying that there are directions available. I don't like that. Let's try something a little different here. Okay, for purposes of just to give you an idea. So I guess when you say Ontario, that is a very large area. So maybe that's why I typed in Ontario and it said it couldn't do it. So I put in Toronto, and it says from where I live to get to Toronto, it would take me 7 hours and 57 minutes. So yeah, 8 hours. Yep, and that's the fastest route. 424 miles from where I live to Toronto, driving all the way through West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, and then right over the border into Toronto. That's cool. Good stuff. I spent most of my life in Alberta in the mountains off-roading. It's a different kind of wheeling here in Bracebridge, Ontario. I'm 2 hours north of Toronto. Okay, gotcha. So if I were to drive up there to off-road with you, or you were to drive down here to off-road with us, it would take you about 10 hours. It would take me about 10 hours. That's probably about the longest I've ever been in a vehicle. I mean, not 10 hours straight. There were several stops, but it was a 10-hour trip. Would the taco be comfortable for the 9 hour ride? If you stop every 2 hours, 2.5 hours for a break, yeah. I will say though, I mean, and this is probably the same for just about any vehicle I've been in. After about 3 hours of driving, it's good to get up and walk around anyways. No matter what you're driving, you could be driving in a reclining chair and you would still need to get up because it's just good to get up and move around, get the blood flowing a little bit. Um, I mean, I know there are a lot of people that don't like the seating position in the Tacoma. There are definitely other options out there, how you can kind of like change the seating position, raising the seat up a little bit. They make little spacers that are probably about an inch tall, and you can put them under the bolts in the rear seat, so it raises the seat kind of at an angle and makes it feel what I've been told to be a bit more of a natural seating position. I personally don't mind the seating position in the Tacoma. I'm 5'10", um, and it works good for me. I mean, if you're super tall, there might be a reason to get a bigger truck just because you're a taller person. But yeah, so wish the seat would lay back further. Gotcha. I've on a few trips I had slept in my truck before, and I was able to be comfortable just probably because I was really tired from the day. Um, but yeah, you did get the 1 inch seat lift, Netman. Okay, cool, cool. I'm good to know. It's glad. Ugh, can't talk. It's good to know that it does feel better. It would be worth trying out. Like I said, I'm not uncomfortable in the seating position on the Tacoma. Mine feels fine the way I have it adjusted, but it would still be, nice to just try out just in case I end up liking it better. Well, guys, I'm probably gonna sign off here. This has been a good experience. I like this. Do they offer the seat lift in the third gen? Yeah, Sierra Mills, they do offer that. Yep, they definitely do. It's probably going to be the same for the second to third gen Tacomas, I would imagine. Um, if you guys follow Tacomaholic, he did put up a video not too long ago of him putting on those spacers on his second gen Tacoma. I mean, the seating and everything, that's probably all you need to do, is watch that video and order that same part. It should work for your Tacoma as well. Yeah, you could get some washers. Yeah, some flat washers as well. I mean, that would probably be a cheap option, actually. Way cheaper than ordering a spacer from a company that makes it, thinking that it's specialized when really you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and put the parts together. Ace Hardware is also another good place as well. But yeah, so alrighty, guys, I'm gonna sign off. This has been a good experience. I'm glad that you guys could join in for the very first live stream for our channel. This is just a test, kind of just to see how things are going. So if you guys do like this, continue to let us know. Give us more and more suggestions. We're always making content. Every week we're coming out with something. So yeah, thank you guys for joining in for the live stream. Keep the suggestions rolling for future videos. And let us know. We can discuss this more in the next live stream, but get more of an idea of what time works for most of you. Obviously, we're all busy during the day, whether it's work, going to classes, students, whatever it may be. Obviously, the evening times work better. If it works better on a weekend, like a Sunday evening like now, or a Saturday, Thursday night, Friday night, whatever may work for you guys, let us know. I know we're all going to be on different time zones here. Obviously, we do have some people watching from other countries. And then, like I said, other parts of the United States. We have plenty of viewers all over that watch us. So this is just to get a feel for it and see how things work. But thank you guys for watching. Yeah, this has been a really, really good experience for me. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So stay tuned for more, and we'll see you guys later.